I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Hey, hope you're all having a lovely Wednesday. Hope you all had a lovely Tuesday night. I had a good one. 4-1 last night. You love to see it. 1 second, AJ, I'm sending you I just emailed you the standings for the league. We'll bring that image up while we're waiting. Yeah, we got a lot of basketball. I think I have 7 or 8 bets open tonight. The most basketball bets I've had open in a while. So, yeah, a lot of action on tonight. We're going to go through all of it. Someone said I need a mean 4-pick, Kyle. Stop placing parlays. That's my, there's your 4-pick. Pistons team total under 112.5. Yeah, I mean, depends on the pace of the game. So Proppy was bringing up these standings.
Do we have any inappropriate names?
No.
Okay.
Probably should have checked that, but no, there's not.
Man of great class, you know.
No, I mean, I think one of the divisions' name is Piss. But
I just like. Okay.
So here's the current standings. I'm sitting in second in my division, plus 2.52 units on the week, and still in second. I got housed. Mount Miami is the toughest division. So that is the current standings this week. Scoop with a commanding lead in the Build-A-Bear division. All right, so still no Chris and no Modi. There's Chris.
Okay, there we go.
Not much, man. 4-1 last night. You'll love to see it. Yeah, I mean, it looked like a no sweat over start to finish, but it actually only cashed by like 3.5 points. They just completely stopped scoring at the end of the game. Luckily, I still got it. But yeah, got that over. Got
Ronnie helped you a lot.
Yeah, he might get
playing defense against Tyrese Maxey. He looked out for you last night, guy.
And also, he gave Philly a couple free buckets with bad passes, turnovers. So yeah, we'll start. Modi did tell me he was going to be late today, but he is coming. Modi's just running a little late. First game. This is not one of the games I have a bet on. I lean towards the Pacers. You can put a Pacers graphic up for me. Pacers over, Pacers team total over, somewhere in there. So first of all, the Pacers have owned Detroit. Pistons are just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 matchups against the Pacers. But specifically, how these two teams match up right now, trending in opposite directions. Specifically, the Pistons offense has fallen off a cliff. And there was a while there where the Pistons were playing some good basketball. They were like 8-4 against the spread in a 12-game stretch, 10-2 straight up. I mean, the Pistons were scoring, they were winning, but the offense has fallen off in their last 6 games, and the results followed. So they're just 2-4 against the spread in their last 6, and they're struggling to consistently score points. Seems like they're finally feeling the effects of not having Jaden Ivey out there. When he first got hurt, they were treading water, but it looks like they're really missing him on the offensive side of the ball. Pacers are playing some defense. I believe in the last 10 games, they're second in defensive efficiency. I think they're second. It's somewhere up there. Pacers are playing some lockdown defense right now. So you got a Pistons offense that's trending downwards, a Pacers defense that's trending upwards. In Indiana, where the Pacers, I mean, like I said, Pistons are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 against Indiana. I don't see any reason to try to take a shot with Detroit here. Didn't actually bet it, and the reason I didn't bet it is Andrew Nemard. He's listed as questionable. He matters. If you remember, earlier in the season, rewind back to mid-November, Andrew Nemard was hurt. He missed 12 games. The Pacers went 2-10 against the spread in those 12 games. So Andrew Nemard matters, and if he doesn't play, not trying to be sitting on Indiana. Now, that was 2 months ago. Maybe screw it. Who cares what was happening 2 months ago? But it is a little concerning because if you remember, the Pacers were struggling. Nemhard came back, and then all of a sudden the Pacers started winning. I'm not saying it's all because of him, but clearly his impact was felt. So if Andrew Nemhard's not playing, I'm not trying to be stuck on a Pacers bet. Plus, there's so much basketball tonight, NBA, college basketball. There's no reason to force bets tonight. There's so many opportunities out there. This just wasn't one I felt strongly enough. So Pacers or pass for me.
Man, carbon copy of everything you said, Kyle. It's almost like you took my notes, man. The Nembhard thing is so crazy. The only thing that you didn't mention, Kyle, I guess I'll mention is, I don't know if you think, I guess you don't think it has an impact, but I know you know the situational spot for Indiana with them coming off the game, out in Paris, just shopping, out there at the Alpha Tower, just living life, man. Then you got to get back to regularly scheduled programming. The Pistons have lost 2 straight games. And when Indiana, Kyle, when they let up, they get absolutely steamrolled. Like, not that it happens often, right? But we saw it against San Antonio. They lose that game they get smoked in that game from start to finish. So this is a team that can have it really turned on or just have it really, really turned off. They end up losing by 30, but then they end up winning by 38. 2 games, same teams.
Right.
So that just lets you know what they're capable of. And the Andrew Nembhard impact, Cal, you didn't put numbers to it, but it's about 10 points per 100 possessions. They give up more. With him on the floor, it's a 108, the defensive rating.
Wow.
With him off the floor, it's a 118. That means a lot here. So I'm with you. I think if I had to bet it, if Nembhard gets ruled out, I'd be willing to throw a little money on a Detroit plus a 7.5 in this spot, thinking they still let roll as a road dog here.
They're not scoring, though.
Point.
They're not scoring.
No, I agree. I like under 2. It will be under. It will be Detroit with the points, in my opinion, because I do think Nembhard drives the factor. Then I feel like if he doesn't play, Kyle, Cunningham probably has a better game because Nembhard's not going to be guarding him. So, yeah, I see a pathway to a potential backdoor cover here, but it's not anything that I put in my pocket either. I would love to know if Nembhard's going to play, though.
Yeah, I mean, if Nembhard's not playing, this is just a pass. That wouldn't switch me over to Detroit. It's a pass for me now. So let's move on. Modi, I have a graphic in there. Should we bring it up?
I know what Modi's on. He's on a Jalen Duren double-double. I believe he has a double-double in all 6 of his career games against the Pacers. So that's an angle that he would probably want to bring up there. And then as well, I'm trying to think. I believe he has a double-double his last 5 or 6 or some shit like that. So
I mean, we don't have to speculate.
That's making his point for him.
So yeah, Modi is on the Duren double-double. He's not here to explain it. Next game.
He's a goober.
Yeah, he's a goober.
His dog's got a hurt pinky.
He's got the softest dog ever.
Does his dog play in the NBA?
No, it's his dog. Modi is
well.
currently picking his dog up from the vet because the dog broke its toe. My dog broke its neck. It wouldn't go to the vet. But that's the difference between me and Modi.
Maybe playing the next night on a back-to-back. But that's just my dog.
Yeah. My dog wouldn't miss the stream. That's for sure. Raptors on the road at Washington. What do we even think about the Raptors right now? In the last 7 games, it almost doesn't make sense. In the last 7 games, the Raptors have a defensive rating of 105, which is very good. Not just very good. That's towards maybe one of the best in the NBA over a long-term period. So the Raptors are playing some defense, and we're talking about a 7-game stretch now. This is not a small sample size. This is not a couple games. Are we now saying, hey, the Raptors are a good defensive team? I mean, is this a large enough sample size where it's okay, we trust this Raptors defense? If it is, then you go Wizards team total under. Modi, I can't see him. Tell him to come back in, please.
Modi, please leave and come back. Kyle cannot see you.
Wizards team total under would be the bet here. I didn't place it. It's at 112.5. I don't have a graphic for it because you went and got it for me?
Chris has it.
Oh, you were on the same. Okay, cool. All right, Chris. It sounds like it's an actual pick for you. This is just a lean for me.
It is an actual pick. I can't believe you didn't go official with a little Wizards team total under here. Why not, Kyle?
I have the same pick, so it's not like I disagree with you.
Go ahead and pull that trigger. You mentioned it, Kyle. Toronto, number 1 defensive rated team last 5 games. Washington is the 2nd worst offensive rated team last 5 games. And then it's more than that, though. It's more like half court what they're doing. The Raptors, the Raptors don't allow teams to score in the half court as well. Insane numbers. I know that their strength of schedule has not been great, and the Wizards' strength of schedule has been a little bit more difficult. But it's still the Wizards. What are we doing here? You look at the Wizards, their team total, I think it's 112.5. So I went through this whole breakdown on my show, Kyle, early this morning about the profile of the Wizards. They're to me, they're like the Golden State Warriors without the backdoor cuts. They're the Brooklyn Nets. They're the Brooklyn Nets, right? Just a team that shoots a bunch of threes very inefficiently. And I'm expecting that to continue here. You look at the Raptors defense, it's been really, really good from the 3-point line. I think holding teams, their fifth most, Washington shooting the fifth most threes, but at the sixth worst percentage, just 32.9% over their last 5 games. They don't attack the rim frequently or efficiently, just 28 in rim frequency, 25th in accuracy. The Raptors defense, you said it, Cal, kind of turned on the switch. What is it? Number 1 defensive rated team, number 2 in opponent offensive rating last 5 games as well, 6th in turnover rate. They're also guarding that 3-point line really well. Last 5 games, they're 4th in opponent 3-point frequency. So they're doing an excellent job of running teams off the 3-point line. Also number 1 in opponent 3-point accuracy, holding teams to 28.8%. So if you're telling me a Wizards team that only shoots threes and they're not going to be able to run, the Toronto's going to run them off the line, and when they shoot them, they're going to miss them, why not? Toronto, 6 of their last 7 opponents have actually stayed under their team total. The Wizards, last 5 games, they played at home with a total of 230 or less. They stayed under in 4 of their last 5 games. I took it. It's been 5 straight games since the Wizards have scored 113 or better. It's been 5 straight games since they stayed under their team total as well. So I did bet I bet Washington team total under 112.5 here. Staying away from the spread. This is the first time that the Raptors have been laying points on the road, and that just lets you know the state of the Wizards because it's 7.
I mean, they are the worst team in the NBA. I don't think anyone would even debate that. And I agree with you. I made the same pick. I didn't actually bet it, and the reason why was I'm waiting for my spreadsheet to load here, but I'm pretty sure we're seeing the Raptors' pace start to creep back up.
The top 10, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, a team total under in a game where in the last 5 games, we're talking about 4th in pace, 8th in pace. So it's the Wizards' offense could be terrible, theoretically, and still go over this number just by the sheer amount of possessions we see in the game. So that's what kept me off. I'm not disagreeing with you. We have the same pick, but that's what kept me off is I think we may see an extremely fast-paced basketball game where even if the Wizards suck offensively, they still put up final score 131-116 or something, and they still get over the total. So I didn't actually bet it, but I do agree with you. Modai is here, and if you're wondering why he's late, his dog broke his toe, the dog. And I just want to say that if my dog broke his toe, he would not want me to miss the stream. My dog's ambitious. Just wanted to add that.
I have a heart, so I care about my dog who's got a broken toe. Poor guy's in a splint, walking around with a stub leg, thumping around the house, drugged up. He's not doing well, so it's on me as the owner to take care of them as the best of my ability.
Does the dog know what pays for the splint, though? These streams.
I mean, you do pay me a lot for these streams, so that's a good point. I'll let him know next time.
All right.
Anyways,
Valanciunas?
Yeah, Jovel double-double. He historically performs well against Pirtle. Obviously, these numbers go back a ways, so it's not always super helpful, but he cashed it both games against the Raptors last year. Granted, different team, but Jovel just has these random matchups that he dominates. Like he crushes Sabonis, that's one of them. And then, but the most important thing here is no Alex Sarr. It's only been 4 games this year, but he's cashed it in all 4 games. The double-double without Alex Sarr this year. And like by far, I mean, one game, 20 points, 12 rebounds. Another game, 20 points, 14 rebounds. Another game, 12 points, 16 rebounds, 14 points, 14 rebounds. So like he hasn't even gotten close to not getting a double-double. And the fact that we can get it at -105 is a decent price for that. So yeah, Jovel double-double.
Someone says, bro, I've never seen a dog with a broken toe before.
Do you think I made it up?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's telling the truth.
One singular toe? I'm starting to think it's a bit made up.
I'm going to need to see a vet report on that.
I can send you the invoice if you want to see that.
Next up, Brooklyn, Charlotte. What are we doing here with this line? Give me the Nets. I got a +3.5 last night. I think the Nets should be laying a point, if we're being honest. Obviously, we're talking about the Nets, and we're talking about a line where we need the Nets to basically win the game. So, of course, there's some risk involved. But what are we doing with this Hornets team? There's nobody playing in this freaking game. There's no Mark Williams. There's no LaMelo Ball. There's no Josh Green. And the Hornets on and off splits with LaMelo Ball are alarming, to put it delicately. This team cannot score points without LaMelo Ball. They're terrible without LaMelo Ball. And if you're going to point at the last game with the Lakers, they covered the +6 for me. LaMelo left early. Dude, that was, number one, a Lakers defense on the road that they've been the worst defense in the NBA on the road. They can't stop anybody on the road. See the Sixers game for reference, where the Sixers score 140. The Lakers defense on the road is shit. Number two, the Lakers were up 20 when LaMelo Ball left the game. That was a case of the Lakers having a game the next day and them taking the foot off the gas. We've seen what this Hornets team looks like without LaMelo Ball on the court. They're terrible. They can't score points. I think the offensive rating is like a 102, like truly next level ass. Not to mention no Mark Williams and no Josh Green. What the hell are we doing? Where are the points coming from for Charlotte? Now on the Nets side, you might be sitting there saying, Kyle, you could say the same thing about the Nets. Not even going to completely argue with you there, but if you watch the video I uploaded last night, Ben Simmons matters.
Benny the Bull.
Benny the Bull. Prop Beaver calls him Benny the Bull. And
Simo the Savage.
I probably started calling Benny the Bull yesterday. It kind of is sticking. I'm going to start calling Benny the Bull too. Benny the Bull's playing in significant splits. If you look at the Nets' last 14 games with Ben Simmons, last 14 games without Ben Simmons, it's significant. The Nets are a significantly better offensive team, a significantly better defensive team, and a significantly better rebounding team when Ben Simmons is on the floor. And I'm talking significant. The Nets are actually 8-6 against the spread in their last 14 games when Ben Simmons plays. So you got Ben Simmons, you got D'Angelo Russell playing. Tell me that's not just a significantly better backcourt than the entire roster that's going to be out there for Charlotte. The wrong team is favored here. Yeah, I got the Nets at plus 3.5. It's one of my more confident bets of the night.
I can go next, Moda, just because I agree with everything that Kyle just said. I know Brooklyn's bad. I'm trying to figure out how they haven't flipped to the favorite yet, though. Like, this is one that makes so much sense. I also bet under last night as well, 208. It was the number when it opened. I was like, how? Like, how are we going to get to 208 points here? So I did bet under. I didn't bet officially Brooklyn. I did for the full game. I did bet Brooklyn first quarter just because I do expect them to win the first quarter. Money line is plus 115. They're 31, 14, and 2 in the first quarter. On the road, the league best 19, 6, and 1 against the spread in the first quarter. Last 10, 7 and 3 first quarter. Last 10 on the road, 9 and 1 ATS first quarter. Charlotte is 3 and 7 against the spread in the last 10 at home. And what kind of chemistry and camaraderie does the starting five for the Charlotte Hornets even have today? So I'll take Brooklyn early. Hopefully Ben Simmons does not. Hopefully he actually plays, because I've seen this guy be a late scratch 1 second before the game. Feels like if he moves the wrong way, he might not play. So hopefully he plays, because I need him for the under. Well, I don't really need him for the under, but I need him for the Brooklyn first quarter. So 2 plays for me in this one. Ugliest game probably on the slate, but I'll take Brooklyn first quarter in the under.
This is Bailey. What's up, man? I'm going to read off a comment. This is Bailey says 8-6 is not that impressive for Ben Simmons' last 14 games. The Nets against the spread in Ben Simmons' last 14 games when he's on the floor. Says 8-6 is not that impressive. LaMelo Ball, when he's not on the floor, the Hornets are 1-11 in the last 12. I'm going to repeat that, 1-11. So you may not like 8-6, but put it next to 1-11, it looks pretty goddamn lovely. So yeah, I'm on Brooklyn here. 1-11 in the last 12. This team can't score. They can't win games without LaMelo Ball. Not to mention Josh Green, Mark Williams as well. This line is sketchy. Whatever, don't care. Brooklyn.
I didn't actually bet this one, but the look that I have is Miles Bridges over 4.5 assists. It's plus 125, best offer price at Bet365. To be honest, I got it from Slop, and I liked a lot of the points that he made. It's just like who else is going to do anything on this team? And I get that that would lead to points, but the Nets, they don't give up a lot of points to pick and roll ball handlers. They allow literally the fewest points per game to pick and roll ball handlers, and the 5th fewest to pick and roll men. So they're an assist team. They're not a team that you want to target with guys that are going to handle the ball a lot, but they allow the 4th most points via spot up, the 5th most points via transition. Obviously the transition part doesn't really help, but spot up is where Miles Bridges could get those assists. I didn't bet it because there's 11 games on the board, so it's like there's better plays out there. But for plus 125, I thought that the value was decent, so I wanted to give it out. But yeah, I didn't bet it.
Someone just called you Beaver the Bull. All right, let's move on to the next one. What's up, Knicks? We own this team. Denver, they don't want to see the Knicks. Denver, what is it?
Way to start the handicap, Cal.
We've claimed ownership over this franchise. Denver just 1-4 straight up, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 against the Knicks. That includes games where the Knicks went out to Denver. 2 of these that fit the description. Went out to Denver injured, catching a big number, still beat that ass. Denver.
Is that banner hung in Madison Square Garden? 4-1 against
hung
Nuggets
right
the
here.
last 5
It's hung right here in the office. Beat Nuggets. No, in all seriousness though, Denver is 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games against the Knicks. And all jokes aside, they do struggle with the Knicks. This current Knicks team and this current Nuggets team maybe doesn't fit the description quite like we're used to seeing. I mean, both of these teams not exactly playing like the teams they were last year. Denver sped up the pace this year. They're running a lot of fast breaks. They're out in transition often. That has been something the Knicks have struggled with this year as a whole. The problem is I think they've turned a corner in that department because, I mean, they're now down to 18th in defensive efficiency in transition. They were at 23rd, 24th. So it seems like the Knicks are doing a much better job defensively against the fast break. And Exhibit A would be the Knicks last game when I took Memphis plus 3.5. And I was like, guys, the Knicks have struggled. Grizzlies have the best fast break in the NBA. Thought it was a great matchup for the Grizzlies. Knicks beat the shit out of, like, it was, what would they win by 35? They beat the shit out of the Grizzlies. So I think the whole Knicks struggle defensively in transition, I think we can put that trend to bed. Knicks have done an elite job protecting the rim. Nuggets take basically all of their shots down there. I would lean towards the Knicks. The bet I gave out on YouTube was Knicks team total over 120.5. It's now at 122.5. So I guess that would have been CLV had I placed it. I didn't place it. It would be Knicks or Knicks team total over if I was to bet it. I'm a little worried about the Knicks defense. Fully healthy Nuggets. I could see Denver scoring pretty easily. So I would go over, Knicks team total over, Knicks minus 2.5, somewhere in there if I was betting it. I am not, though. And either of you gentlemen?
Yeah, so the bet I have in this one is long gone. It was Karl Anthony Towns over 15.5 RA, rebounds plus assists. I got it at minus 120. You can get that at minus 140 at Fliff, which isn't terrible because like 16.5, the best offered price on that is minus 130. And then if you're going all the way up to 17.5, you're still paying minus money. So it's not super helpful for people right now. It's a really good matchup, both from a rebounds and assist perspective for Cat against the Nuggets. Nuggets allow a lot of rebounds to centers. It's because the center's guarding Jokic, and he might foul him out, but that he also is going to keep the center close to the basket, and he's going to have a lot of misses around the rim. Or he's going to have a lot of makes, but also a lot of misses around the rim. Cat had 19 combined against his team earlier this year, 15 rebounds on 23 rebound chances. And the Nuggets are also one of the best matchups for center assist props as well. They're super aggressive trying to get the ball out of the center's hands because they don't really trust Jokic to just man somebody up. So like 7 of 8 guys similar to Cat have hit their assist prop over according to Props Madness. And the only one that missed was Wemby. But if you remember, it was that back-to-back night where they literally played on back-to-back days. Wemby cashed it the first time, and then he missed it the second. And those back-to-backs, when they play the same team on back-to-back nights, can always be a little bit wonky. But every other player hit their assist prop over, including Cat, who had 4 assists last time against the Nuggets. At this point, you're paying minus 140 for the 15.5, or you can get 17.5 for minus 105. So it's not super helpful for people right now, but that's where I went, is a Cat.
Towns over 16.5 rebounds and assists at plus money, according to this graphic. Chris, what are your thoughts on this one? I don't see a ton of value on it. It was 3 last night. It's 2.5 now, so indicative of the taking some Denver money. I really don't have a strong opinion on this one. What about you, Chris?
I kind of hate when I bet on teams, Kyle, in good situations and they burn me, and then they in a good situation again. I mean, I wouldn't even say Denver's in a really good situation. They lost that game. They got absolutely steamrolled by the Bulls. And you hate to see, like, I hate losing bets when it's effort, right? Like, they're getting out hustled by the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls pull down more rebounds. So, of course, Denver's probably going to come in here and pull an upset and win this game. That's why sharp money's coming in on them. Do I want to do that with my money? The way they played defense last game? Absolutely not. Because I know the Knicks offense is a lot better than the Chicago Bulls offense on every day of the year. So even like the shorter the line gets, the more I really want to take the Knicks, even though I understand situationally, could the Knicks have a little bit of a let up after scoring 143 points in a row, twice in a row? Yeah, they could. But, I mean, what has Denver really shown us to say that they're going to go in and win this game and that they're going to be locked in defensively? I would only be looking towards the Knicks, even though I understand how people can make it a Denver spot. I can't put any more money on Denver right now. They broke my heart the other day. Watching them and Orlando Magic both lose the games, the way that they lost the games after both of them had double-digit leads in the second half, I can't do it. I won't be betting. The Bulls free diet has become a Nuggets free diet. No more chicken nuggets, no more spicy chicken nuggets, none of that. I'm off the Nuggets for a while right now.
No nuggets of any kind. Did you see that game got over 248, though?
I did. Did you? You was on the over? Yeah, you.
I didn't actually bet it, but you and Lindy were both like, "What?" When I said over, you got over 248. Next game.
I thought Cal Chicago offensively had been struggling so much, but they also hit 24 3-pointers, the most in league hit in their franchise history. I think it was 24 3-pointers in that game against Denver the other day. They hadn't scored that many points in but like one game of their last like 10 games. Hit 17 threes.
Well, it's not just the Chicago offense though. The Denver defense is trending in the wrong direction. In the last 6 games, their defense looks terrible. Like a 120.5.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, 120.5. 27 rated defensive team. So, what are your thoughts on the total, Kyle? Do you think
I said over. If I had bet Knicks team total over 120.5 last night, like I said on YouTube, I'd be holding a couple points of value right now. So I mean that's indicative that that's where the action's coming in on. I couldn't actually do it. But yeah, the Nuggets defense in the last 6 games, awful. And in the last 2 games, it's like a 137 defensive rating their last 2 games. The defense is in a free fall right now, and the Knicks offense is the complete opposite. They're hanging 145 on Memphis. So yeah,
143 back-to-back games. Kyle.
Yeah, the Knicks offense is hottest in the NBA.
What's interesting, the total open, I saw it at 243 yesterday, but then it got bet down to 239.5, 240. Now it's coming back up, like you said, to 241. I see 242.5, almost back to where it started at 243. So very, very interesting, market, I guess, evaluation or discrepancy there. Some push and pull going on.
Next up is Sacramento, Philadelphia. I can't really describe how little interest I have in this game. There's no way I'd lay 9 with the Kings. In fact, let's give the Sixers some credit. They're playing some ball right now. Last night, I mean, I will say the Sixers on this little win streak, they caught Cleveland in a terrible spot. I bet Philly plus the points in that game. I was in Vegas with Ski. I bet that game. They just caught the Lakers in a terrible spot on a back-to-back. So, I mean, they've had a little bit of good fortune with the schedule, but no doubt they are playing well right now, this Sixers team. So just put Philadelphia plus 9 up for me. Hey, let's ride the wave. Sixers are playing well, but I'm not betting this coming off last night's game. And the Kings are complete. Are the Kings still completely healthy injury front? I didn't see any injuries for the Kings before.
Yep, I think that's what I saw too.
McDermott's questionable. Who cares? So yeah, Sixers are pass for me here.
I can go next, Modai, just because I agree with everything Kyle said. I'm not laying this many points with Sacramento on the road, and like you mentioned, Kyle, Philly is. I don't know. They're figuring it out even without Embiid, and maybe they should just retire Embiid. Well, probably won't retire in Jersey, but maybe they should trade him or something. And Paul George too. He just got ruled out, so maybe even more money comes in on Sacramento here, and you get a better number with Philly. But it's the only way that I'm looking is plus the points, not laying as many with Sacramento.
Matt, talk about your Sixers.
Yeah, I didn't. This is another one that I didn't bet, but I like the look on Malik Monk assists. I just don't think that the books are like really catching up. It's over 6.5 or plus 110 at DraftKings. That's the best price. Normally I'm not like a recent hit rate guy, but like he's hit this in 9 of his last 10 games. He's hit it in 8 of his last 10. In 7 of the last 8, he's just been on fire, and he's like 9 assists on 10 potentials. And that's not great, but the 9 on 15. 7 on 12, 9, and then for whatever reason, I don't have the potential assist number. 9 on 17 potential assists against the Bulls. He hit it in a tough matchup against the Celtics. And I took Austin Reeves yesterday against the Sixers because they're a good matchup for guard assist props. Reeves came through, and that game, it was a game that Lakers got blown out, and Reeves still had 8 assists. His over-under was 6.5 in that one. So I think getting it for plus money on Monk is solid. I just don't think that the books have really caught up to his new role since with the new coach and since he got moved to the starting lineup. I didn't bet it because like it's just a little bit of a wonky game, especially with like trade rumors with Fox and stuff. I don't know. That's probably won't impact anything, but maybe it will. So I didn't bet it, but that's where I would go.
Next game is Bulls Celtics, and this is my biggest regret of last night. I liked the bet. If you watch the YouTube video, I said, like, I think I'm going to bet this. Didn't pull the trigger on it. I'd be holding all kinds of value now. I like the Bulls team total at 109.5. I think it's at 106.5 now. So this one has dropped a full 3 points on a team total, which is a significant drop. Oh, you got a graphic for it?
Chris likes that one.
Oh, shit. All right. Go ahead, Chris. I didn't actually bet it. I wanted to.
Yep. So where are we? So it's pretty simple, Kyle. We talk about fading Boston off a win, which they're the least profitable team. We talk about backing Boston off a loss, and I think they're the second most profitable team. And when Boston loses, it's typically a really good defensive effort too. We just saw this. Who did they lose to? They lost to the Lakers last week on national TV. got mollywopped by the Lakers in LA. And then they go into Dallas and they smoke Dallas, beat them by double digits. I know that this number is really, really big, and Chicago matches up pretty well with Boston. They've covered a lot of the spreads recently, but this is more just about Zach LaVine being out. There's I think a 6-point discrepancy between how many points that they score per 100 possessions with Zach LaVine off the floor. This is about Chicago playing a lot slower last 5 games than they played for the full season. Their pace has dropped out of the top 5 and into like middle of the pack, so to say. And then also Boston just not playing slow. They also just a really good defensive team in general, even though they haven't been covering spread. So when I went back in and looked at it, Kyle, I think it was something like when Boston loses a game, after they've lost, they allow an average of 101 points per game, which is a lot of CLV here. I got 108.5. And then you're looking at the Bulls. They've held this Bulls team to like 94 points, I think, one time this season. So I'm expecting this to be a slower pace game, Boston to be locked in. You know, Boston, they're going to turn it on once, twice a week. Other games they won't care too much about. But I do think it's a really good spot for Boston just to bounce back after losing that game outright to the Houston Rockets the other day. So, yeah, I pulled the trigger early this morning. 108.5 is what I got.
Yeah, I almost got 109.5 last night. I wish I did. Another thing is the pace of this game. We haven't seen the Bulls play many slow-paced games this year, but on the season, they're 3rd in pace. They're 4th in the last 10 games. They're 11th in the last 5 games. So it seems like the Bulls' pace slowing down a bit. And now they're playing Boston, who's dead last in pace in the last 5. I mean, Boston plays a super slow pace. So in addition to they're on the road in Boston without LaVine against a tough Celtics defense coming off a loss, not only is it a gauntlet for the Bulls offensively in terms of consistently scoring, but we also may see a slow-paced basketball game. So, yeah, I like this one. I really wish I bet it at 109.5 last night. Modi?
Yeah, I didn't bet this one. Is Tatum playing? I guess I didn't see if that got
he's still questionable.
Yeah, so I didn't bet it. That would change my mind whether he plays or not.
Next.
Okay.
Whoa! Who's the new guy? Next out, Cleveland, Miami. I did place a bet in this game. Got the under at 227.5. All right, so I know taking an under in a Cleveland Cavaliers game, there's some risk involved. Obviously, if you've followed the Cavs in the last 2-3 weeks, all offense, no defense. That's what the Cavs have been for like 10, 11 games now. So considering an under in a Cavs game is kind of crazy. But I do like what I saw from the Cavs defense in their last game against Detroit. 96 defensive rating. The Pistons couldn't do shit. So I do like, I obviously, and I think most of you would agree, it's not like we expected the Cavs defense to be shit for the rest of the season. I think the Cavs offense is going to cool off, but the Cavs defense is not going to be 29th in efficiency the rest of the year. Like, that's going to curve getting a healthy Mobley back, Jared Allen. I mean, that defense can't be that bad. So I expect the Cleveland defense to start to swing, and we might have started to see that in the Pistons game. But also, Miami, if you look at their splits with and without Jimmy Butler, look, I know a lot of you guys are hating on Jimmy Butler. I get why recently, but it's very clear that he impacts the offense. When he's not out there, the Heat offense is not nearly as good.
I think it's 10 fewer points scored per 100 possessions, Kyle, to put some numbers behind it.
Yeah, it's a significant drop-off in offensive production for the Heat.
Unless they're playing in Orlando in the fourth quarter and they're down by 10. Don't forget about that, but continue.
I appreciated that. But, so yeah, there's significant offensive drop-off when Jimmy Butler's not out there. So I don't like the Heat offense without Butler. It's not consistent enough. Also, they lose a lot of offensive rebounding. He offers them a lot on that side of the ball. But on the defensive side, the numbers are about the same with or without Jimmy Butler. We know Butler as this like physical defensive play. Well, maybe not after the playoff runs, but according to the numbers this year, the offense takes a huge hit without Jimmy Butler, but the defense is fine. So I still trust this Heat defense, and this still is a road game in Miami. I know that the Heat have not shown us their best stuff this year. We're not huge believers in this Heat team, but this is still not an easy place to go and score points. This is Spoelstra in Miami. I mean, he's very good at taking away what you're trying to do. If you're trying to shoot threes, he's going to center his defense around taking that away. They also can protect the rim at an elite level. So I trust the Heat defensively. Also, I don't expect to see the fastest paced game Cleveland's pace has been slowing down. I think they're 25th in pace in the last 5 games, and the Heat are 23rd. So in addition to, I think both defenses could play well, we should see a slower paced game. Got 2 points of value in this one. I'm on it. Give me that under.
Go ahead, Moda.
Let Proppy go.
Oh, okay.
Go for
Oh,
it.
did you not want to go?
No, sure, we could. It's just you what was that about?
Well, you haven't gotten an at bat yet.
Okay. No, yeah, sure. Might as well get me heated up. Okay, so reason why I like Mr. Jarrett Allen under his rebounds here is because since the Heat have moved Kel El Ware into, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, not gonna lie, maybe a rookie pronunciation, sorry folks. Reason why I like Mr. Jarrett Allen tonight on his rebounds under. Sorry, I'm looking for my write-up.
No, someone else can go for it. I didn't know you weren't ready. My bad.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
You kind of just
so someone else go. I thought you were sitting there waiting.
That's just messed up.
It's not like I'm doing things.
All right, I went Bam Adebayo double-double. You can actually get a better price. I got plus 100. You can get it at plus 115 at Bet365, plus 110 at MGM. So the market moved against me on this one. I still like it. I mean, the better matchup, if we're just isolating points and rebounds, would be the rebounds. But his point prop is set at like 15 or 16 and a half. I'm confident he's going to get at least 10. Like, will he get 6 under his over-under? I'm confident in that. He scored 10 points in 85% of the games this year. Just scored 16 against the Cavs last time these two teams played. In terms of the rebounds, also a decent hit rate, like 59% of the time he's gotten 10 rebounds. But really, I just like the matchup against the Cavaliers. They've been a matchup for center rebound props. It's kind of similar to the Jokic thing, but they just have a center, Jared Allen, who's going to keep someone close to the basket, so they're never going to have to worry about being stretched out, and they're constantly there to grab the rebounds. 62% of centers, similar to Bam Adebayo in terms of their rebounding profile, have hit the over against the Cavaliers. That includes Bam himself, who had 13 rebounds last time these two teams played. And then if you just go off of like centers, not even looking at centers similar to Bam, just the center position in general, 10 of the last 15 have gone over against the Cavs. So really what we're betting on is that he gets 10 rebounds. His over under set at 9.5. The points thing, again, he's gotten 10 in 85% of his games. He did it last time. I'm pretty confident he'll get to at least double-digit points. Rebounds is really the main thing that I like in terms of the matchup.
Are you ready, or you want Chris to go?
I mean, can you not see what you replied to your own message in a Discord? I'm a little confused here.
What?
Nothing.
Me?
Just go to Chris.
Oh no, I can't see. That's a super small on my screen.
No, I'm talking to myself. I'm looking through it. Just go to Chris.
I thought you were talking
Jesus
to me.
Christ.
I was like, well, I don't even know what you just said.
I think Proppy was losing it.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
So guy, I know you said you bet under, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet under. What number did you get?
227.5.
227.5. I kind of feel like this still goes under, Kyle. I really, really do, man. The more I think about the game, when I handicapped this game earlier this morning on my show, Darius Garland wasn't sitting for rest because they play against the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow, but he's not going to be there. And when you look at the advanced numbers with Darius Garland on and off the floor, like, he's probably going to be an all-star this year. I don't think it quantifies how much he impacts the offense. You're also missing guys like Karis LeVert off the offense. I agree with you, Kyle. I know you've been labeled this Cleveland Cavalier hater, but I do agree that the offense is due to, I mean, it can't get but so much better, right? So can we see it in this game? Yes, I think so. There's Garland on the floor. Their offensive rating is 126.87. I'm pretty sure that's the highest in the NBA. There's Garland off the floor, it drops to a 114. So that's 12 less points per 100 possessions without Darius Garland on the floor. The defense also gets 12 points per possession better. 117 with him on the floor, 105 without him on the floor. So I like the under still. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I also think, looking at the Miami Heat side of things, I still think that they're going to struggle to score. I think they're going to play super slow. I just worry about them being able, the Cleveland Cavaliers being able to defend the three-point line. Because we know Spoelstra is going to, the Miami Heat's going to go out there, shoot a bunch of threes. If there is a discrepancy for this Cleveland Cavalier defense, even when they were hot this year, is that they can't guard the three-point line. So with Miami being, coming off a double overtime game against Orlando the other day, I still got traumatic nightmares about that. With that happening recently, I still think that they could run out of gas here as well. I think I'm talking myself into a full game under still, Cal, with the current number. I think best number I see is what, like 220. What do you guys see? 224.5, 225.5?
I didn't even look because I bet this one. I set it and forget it.
CLV King. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, 224.5. I still think it goes under.
Oh, it's down to 224.5 now.
Yeah,
wow.
Even more CLV for you.
All right.
I don't really want to give attention to a guy whose name is Dr. Boobies, but apparently I was a huge jerk to Chris last week, according to Dr. Boobies.
I already addressed that. We already addressed
I mean, there's a couple morons out today. The one guy, 3D just said, Kyle's almost always wrong. I've had 2 losing days in 3 weeks. Yeah, these are not highly intelligent people. The other person goes, Kyle says he's not a trends guy. All he reads is trends. I don't even know. Have I read a trend today? The Pistons-Pacers game, I gave 1 trend out today. Not intelligent folks.
Probably your videos that you upload, Kyle.
But
you also say in those videos, if you're a trend guy.
Yeah, for you. But I mean, as far as this video, the only trend I read was Pistons Pacers. That was like 40 minutes ago. So go ahead, Rob Beaver.
To Chris, what were even the allegations?
Tensions are at an all-time high, folks, and I'm here to say I finally found my write-up. All is good in the world. So let's talk about Jarrett Allen under rebounds finally. Since the Heat have added Kello Ware, whatever the hell his name is, I truly don't give a rat's ass. Opposing centers are starting to struggle. They hit their rebound overs against the Heat. It was an easy matchup in the beginning of the season. It's starting to become a hard matchup because Kello Ware, he's a guy who could stretch the floor. And now it's a bit overvalued. He's gone over his last 3 or 5. 2 of those cashes came with Mobley out. Third came in a game where the Pistons shot a heinous 38% from the floor. I watched that game. My Christ, they couldn't fucking piss off of a pier. It was heinous. Let's not forget, with Mobley active on the road, that this is a guy under his last 9 to 10 contests, averaging 8.8 rebounds per game. And even with Mobley and Wade out, Allen is still under his last 5 or 6, averaging 7.8 rebounds with 20 or less rebound chances in 5 or 6 contests. If we look just season long right now, with 20 or less chances, Allen is under his last 16 to 18 overall with Mobley, averaging just 8.3 rebounds per game. And let's not forget that Allen has already struggled against Miami on the glass greatly without 2 centers on the floor. Last 3 matchups with Mobley active, 4, 4, and 7 rebounds. I just think we're catching too high a number in a pace down spot just due to the fact that a few guys are out. I mean, Wade, Okoro, Garland, I think that's way too undeserved here. So now you can catch that minus 105, some really low vig. I think you're catching some nice value.
Couldn't piss off a peer.
Couldn't piss off.
So that's like that's a metaphor for inaccurate.
I heard that on
So
I'll give credit to my guy.
He's so inaccurate that he like pisses on the pier and he can't get it off.
Yeah, I'll give credit to my guy Josh from Locked On Basketball, Locked On Fantasy Basketball. He said that. Great term, dude. It had me pissed.
Couldn't piss off
cracking
a pier.
up, dude. Yeah.
Piss off a pier, classic.
Is that Lindy in the chat? What's up, man?
Yeah.
All right, this is what
Lindy liked it too.
Yeah.
Clippers, Spurs. Another regret of last night, man. I was hesitant. I was feeling insecure about my opinion on the game. I thought I gave good reasoning. If you watched the video I uploaded last night, you already know what I'm talking about. But I was hesitant to pull the trigger on under 224.5. I was looking at it, hesitant to pull the trigger. I said in the video I like the under 224.5. I record it. Me and Prop Beaver edit the video, get it ready to upload. It's now moved to 222.5. I wake up this morning, it's 220.5. So I left a lot of value on the table by not pulling the trigger here. What kept me off betting this under was the fear of the pace. The Clippers have been speeding it up a little bit. By no means are the Clippers a fast-paced team, but the Spurs definitely are. The Spurs, I think they're like 5th or 6th in pace in the last 10 games. The Spurs run. They run quick. So the pace scared me off the under. The reason I like the under and the reason I'm assuming that we're seeing the action bet this number down to 220.5 now is, okay, the Spurs defense, you look at the last 10 games, it looks terrible. They have terrible defensive rating in the last 10 games. But 5 of those games had no Jeremy Sohan out there. And if you isolate the game logs and just look at the 5 games that Jeremy Sohan didn't play, it's pretty significant. A defensive rating over 123. So the 5 games that Jeremy Sohan missed, the Spurs defense was trash. And if you take those 5 games out, Spurs are like a 6th, 7th best defense in the NBA over the course of the season. So we have those 5 games that Jeremy Sohan missed kind of skewing the numbers here. I think this is a buy low on the Spurs defense because people are, if you look at the last 10 games, they're like 29th in defensive rating. So if you just do a half-assed handicap and look at the whatever, you might be like, Spurs aren't playing any defense right now. But those 5 games without Jeremy Sohan are really fucking the numbers up. So now that Jeremy Sohan's back, it's a buy low on the Spurs defense. And on the other side, did you see, Prop Beaver, the defensive rating with Kawhi Leonard on the floor? Did you see that?
It's rather good.
102. 102. So, first of all, in the games Kawhi Leonard has played this year, the Clippers are 7-2 against the spread. Or no, I'm sorry, 6-3 against the spread, 7-2 straight up. So when Kawhi Leonard's on the floor, betting the Clippers has been profitable. But on top of that, the defensive rating in those games, 102. So to put it into perspective, if Kawhi Leonard has played the entire season, the Clippers would have the best defense in the NBA by a mile, like by a literal mile, not to mention the offensive rating at 115 when he plays. So it's only been 9 games where we've seen Kawhi Leonard play, but defensively, they're a problem. So I think we're going to see 2 very good defenses here. Like I said, I'm a little worried about the pace. That's why I didn't pull the trigger. Wishing I did, though. Would have been holding 4 points of value. So, I mean, at 220.5, I guess my pick is still under, but we missed it. We missed the bus here. If you didn't get the under early on, I guess 4, probably lean towards the Clippers. A little worried about the Spurs defense, though. I truly think they are able to give the Clips some problems. So it'd be Clippers or pass at the current number. Miss the boat.
So my thought process is similar. I actually was thinking about isolating this to just the San Antonio team total under, right? This is the other team that's also coming back from France. Got Wemby out there, showcasing and tour guiding everybody around. Not sure how locked in San Antonio is going to be, but like you mentioned, the Clippers got revenge in this game. They're also coming off a loss. They got smoked the last time that these 2 teams played. So it wasn't even close. They lost 122-86. That game did not have Kawhi Leonard in it, of course. The totals between the 2 teams have actually been under totals as well. 7-3 to the under last 10. The part you mentioned, Kyle, about the Spurs playing faster recently, that was something that scared me too. But here's the reason why I think they've been playing faster, Kyle. You play against the Pacers twice in your last 2 games.
Yeah.
You play against the Grizzlies twice. They for their last 5 games have come against the Grizzlies twice and the Pacers twice. So your pace is going to be up as well. So that's what really highly considered me to a San Antonio team total under, just when you got the Clippers. I think we'll get a locked in effort here from them as well. I leaned 3 last night, didn't pull the trigger. The more I looked into it and what kind of kept me off is that I think about Ty Lue as a pretty good coach. Would you guys agree? Top 10 coach maybe in the NBA?
Yeah.
I'm not a Ty Lue guy.
Not a Ty Lue.
I am a Ty Lue. I'm a Ty Lue guy.
All right, so we got
Modi strikes me as a Ty Lue guy.
Some mixed emotion. Let's ultimate tiebreaker here.
I can see Toast laughing in the background at that.
I see him laughing too.
Just screams Ty Lue guy. I mean, when Allen Iverson steps over you in the NBA Finals, I will be a Ty Lue guy.
Not just like his coaching style when he has that distressed look on his face when he's losing, like that's what reminds me of Matt.
I was jealous of Ty Lue's view.
Prop Beaver, are you a Ty Lue guy? Break the tie for us, please.
He is the Ty Lue guy, he said.
No, I'm not.
He is?
I
said
that Modi was jealous of Ty Lue's view when AI stepped over him. That was the only thing I said.
So you're not a Ty Lue guy, probably?
No, I'm not a Ty Lue guy.
Not a Ty Lue. So
You said Modi was jealous of Ty Lue's view when AI stepped over.
Of AI's nuts.
Yeah, that's the only thing I said. Nah.
All right, Matt, what do you think here?
Anyway, hold on. Let me finish my point because I was talking about Ty Lue. That's how we got to the topic.
Oh, sorry.
So this season, I think about Ty Lue and I think about the Clippers being a good team. And typically, good teams, when they lose to a team, they have revenge. They bounce back. The Clippers are 1-10 straight up, 3-7, 3-7-1 against the spread when they've lost and they playing against the same opponent that they lost to this season. That does not make me want to be a Ty Lue guy. So that would actually lean towards San Antonio, but overall, I still think it's a Clippers part. I think with the revenge and them losing to the Suns the other day, I would lean that way. Wish I would have got the 3, but I didn't bet it.
What about Matthew?
I didn't bet this game, but because I'm a Ty Lue guy, I'll take the Clippers -4 and I'll ride with you.
Okay.
Because I'm a Ty Lue guy. Next time Modi's on, we're making his name Ty Lue guy.
Lue guy.
Not Gaddy?
Not Gaddy. Speaking of Gaddy, Dallas is up next, and I'm going to give Prop Beaver about 10 minutes to get his notes together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea at this point. Yeah. Well, actually, we'll have the Gaddy expert start us. I can't believe I didn't put his name as.
No, I
Gaddy.
want to start us off.
All right. No, you start us off.
I'll just go fuck myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like batting leadoff.
Okay.
Mavs, Pelicans in New Orleans. Another one I left value on the board. I said I like the Pelicans plus 3.5 last night. It's 1 now. Man, I could be holding so much value if I wasn't a little gun shy last night. Not that means they would all be wins, but it would be nice to be holding all that. I still like the Pelicans. I think they win the game. Couple things here. Number one, so these two teams just played, I think 2 weeks ago to the day. The Pelicans won a close one here in New Orleans, same building. There was no Kyrie Irving, and there was no Zion in that game. Let me just make sure there's no injury updates to this one before I keep talking. I haven't checked this morning.
Jordan Hawkins is out. I think that's the only thing that's changed.
Yeah, so nothing significant. Najee Marshall still questionable. So we just saw this matchup 2 weeks ago, and we had no Zion and no Kyrie Irving. So now you throw Kyrie in for Dallas, you throw Zion in for New Orleans. No Luka and Lively in that game, but they're not playing now either. I know Dallas has been playing competitive basketball as of late. They have. I think they're 4-2 against the spread in their last 6. They've played some good competition too. So I'm not trying to shove what Dallas has done recently under the rug. They have been competitive against some tough teams. But the reason I like New Orleans here, and I wish I bet it, is Pelicans just went on that 3-game road trip, and I just think the perception of them just fell off a cliff like a roller coaster, and everyone seems to have forgot that this Pelicans team was getting their shit together not a week and a half ago. If you remember, they were 5-1 against the spread, or maybe 6-1, something like that, against the spread and straight up over a 6-game span. They were getting their shit together. Then they went on this 3-game road trip, and it was ugly. 0-3. They lost to Charlotte, like ugly. So they go on this 3-game road trip. It's bad. Now they come back home, and dude, sometimes, and this reminds me of baseball handicapping a little bit. The road trip, changing locations, it's a trend breaker. It's almost like you come back home and now we can get back to that road trip sucked. Guys, we're back home in a winnable game against an injured Dallas team. Let's handle business. So I think New Orleans gets back to where they were a week and a half ago. And by the way, when Luka Doncic first got hurt, Dallas went 2-9 against the spread in those first 11 games. So let's not pretend that, they started playing competitive basketball, that it's not unfathomable that the Dallas Mavericks can be absolutely ass without Luka. We've seen it. So I think the Pelicans win this game. I wish I bet it last night at plus money. Didn't. Still would lean Pelicans at the current price, but did not bet it.
All right. Now, Modi, you can go. Very sorry about before. Our rude host he's
I wouldn't dream of trying to go first any other next time. Anyways, Daniel Gafford, aka Gaddy, double. If you build it out 10 plus rebounds and 10 plus points on Bet365, you can get that at plus 100. They just something they have off. Like if you go to double, it's minus 125. But if you do that, you can get plus 100. So that's what I bet. In terms of both these points and rebounds is a phenomenal matchup against the Pelicans. They allow the second most points in the paint. That's literally 100% of where the shots of Daniel Gafford comes from is in the paint. They also allow the most rebounds to centers as well, literally number 1, according to multiple sources. So it's not just like, one source has it. And you go to play types, like he scores the majority of his points via cuts, but they don't have the NBA doesn't give us data off of that. Next up is putbacks, which they allow the 30th, so the most points via putbacks, which helps both with points and his rebounds. And without Derek Lively this year, he scored 10 or more points in 12 of 15 games. His hit rate on the rebounds isn't as good, only 4 of 10. But in 2 of the games that he missed, he had 18 and 17 rebound chances. And one of them was last game against the Wizards, which he only played 24 minutes because that game was a blowout literally in the first quarter. But 11 of 15 centers, similar to Gafford, I've hit the rebound prop over. So him getting to 10, I'm pretty confident in. And the fact that we can get it for even money, plus 100, I think is pretty solid. Gaddy, double, plus 100.
Yeah, and I mean, folks, no surprises here. I'm also on Gaddy. Guy's been an absolute wagon for us this season. Now, I want to clarify, there is a book that still has 25.5 still out there. I gave this out at 24.5 last night. It's at 25.5 still on Hard Rock. If you have Hard Rock, I would still play 25.5 for 1.5 units. If you're getting this at 26.5, would still play that for a full unit. So at the 25.5, over the line, 5 straight games against non-OKC teams. He's averaging an unholy 34 points a rebound, 31 minutes, 22% usage rate, and 26 rebound chances per game. My lordy, with 25 plus minutes, 17 plus chances, and an 18 plus usage rate, which he hit in all 5 of those games. He's 12-2 since 2023, and he's averaging 36 points and rebounds, a whole 10 over our total. Now going to face a Pelicans defense that has allowed, as Modai was alluding to, it's an amazing matchup. They've allowed 7 straight opposing starting centers, not named the old man Taj Gibson, to smash their points or rebounds line. They're averaging 32 points a rebound, and Gafford just had 39 against these same Pelicans 2 weeks ago. We've got no Lively in this one. We got no Powell. We got no Kleber. And only a 1-point spread. So I'm very confident that Gaddy's going to get us over the hump here with 30-plus minutes. Absolutely love this play.
I'm very against normalizing the use of the nickname Gaddy.
No, I think we should normalize it.
Yeah, live a little, Kyle.
Yeah.
Chris, what are you on?
Nothing. I'm gonna tell Prop Beaver with the Gaddy look or Daniel Gafford, whatever we want to call him.
Yeah.
I love that handicap. And we just cashed with Daniel Gafford the other day. It makes a ton of sense. He gets a very, very opportunistic a game here. He just played the Wizards, crushed the line, even though Clay hit 12 threes in the first quarter, and now he gets the Pelicans. So another really great matchup with just Misi down there. So I like the look with Gafford here too.
Sly Bankai said, bro, no, PJ Washington going to get more rebounds because Pels run small most of the time. And now normally I would say, okay, that is a bit scary. They could run small just like OKC did, but when you have Zion attacking the rim, I don't think you could really run small. I mean, that would just be flat out a death wish right there. You can't be throwing PJ Washington to defend the rim against Zion Williamson. I mean, you're going to get cooked all night. So I think Gafford needs to be out there for those 35 minutes.
What Chris just said was very telling. He said, I'm going to tail Prop Beaver on this one, even though both Prop Beaver and Modai gave out Gafford props.
But it's different though, right? It's not the same thing. What did you give out?
No, you can try to sidestep it, but I think we all got the message.
No. Look. If you go back and watch the video, if you watch the film what was that? Monday when we were all on Gafford, and I went last, Kyle. You was like, Chris, what do you have to say about Gafford? And I was like, I'm just on his points. So I cashed on the points. I know he didn't get to the rebounds because it was a blowout. Yeah. So it's not specific to one or the other, Kyle. It is specific to one or the other. And Modai, you were on what?
Double-double.
Yeah.
Double-double. I'm not playing double-double. I love the double-double, but I'm not playing double-double. I just want rebounds specifically in this one.
All right, let's move on to the next game. I'm sorry Chris just dissed you, Matt.
I would never.
It's for Matt big digging him the other day. It's just revenge.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah. Apparently it was
an eye for an eye.
Where are we on now?
We're on the Timberwolves Suns. Me and Matt both have Timberwolves in this game, but we have different Timberwolves guards.
I don't understand what's going on with the market in this one.
In fact, 3 of us love Timberwolves in this game.
Yeah, I'm on Minnesota. I love the matchup for him. I guess Naz Reid being questionable is what's is contributing to it. I don't understand.
KD he practiced and shoot around, so he's probably gonna go.
Yeah, so why did the line move back to Phoenix then? I don't understand the market in this one. This is the game where the market moved against me. Don't 100% get it. I took Minnesota money line last night. I still like it. So how this one went down is I looked at this game. I liked the matchup for Minnesota before they even added Durant to the injury report. So I looked at it. I decided I liked the matchup for Minnesota. I didn't bet it yet. I saw Durant get added to the injury report, went and bet it immediately at -120. I was really confident this was just going to keep moving to Minnesota, and it hasn't. In fact, it's Minnesota +1 now. I like the matchup. In my opinion, this is such a perfect sell high spot on the Suns. I mean, if you look at the last 10 games, if you just take a quick glance at it, it looks like the Suns are getting their shit together, right? They've won 5 in a row at home. I think they're 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games. Offensive rating over 117 in their last 10. So just a quick glance. If you just take a surface level look at the Suns, oh shit, look at these Suns getting their shit together. But if you take a closer look, against who? You played the Hawks twice. You played the Wizards twice. You played Charlotte. You played Brooklyn. You played Detroit. You played a slew of trash teams. Yes, that Clippers win was sweet the other night, and I said I like the Suns' money line in that one. So you do have one legitimate win there against the Clippers. Other than that, if you look at the Suns' last 10 games, they've played the Clippers and 9 trash defenses. So forgive me if I'm not throwing you a parade for having an offensive rating over 117 in the last 10. I would hope so. Kansas State could have a 117 offensive rating against that schedule in their last 10. So to me, it looked like the perfect sell high spot on the Suns offense. You got a Minnesota Timberwolves defense that's been consistently top 5 this entire season. So it's not like the Timberwolves defense hasn't really been doing this. It's been consistently top 5 all year. Timberwolves defense that's 6th in defensive rating in the last 10 games against the 4th strongest schedule. So this team's playing elite defense against elite competition. So I looked at the Minnesota Timberwolves defense as a wake-up call for the Suns offense that's kind of been just on cruise control against shitty defenses. That's how I looked at the game. And as far as Minnesota scoring points, don't love the idea that DiVincenzo is still hurt, but they got an offensive rating of 116 in the 6 games since he's been out. So it's not like we've seen Minnesota's offense just fall off. I think we're getting the better team, who, by the way, has beaten the Suns 5 consecutive times. So Phoenix is struggling with this Minnesota team. I thought for sure I was going to get closing line value in this one. I did not. It's out of pickup now. Maybe if Durant gets ruled out, I'll get some. But I like the bet. The market's against me. I kind of don't care, if I'm being honest.
Go ahead, Mara.
Prop Beaver, right? You have your notes up?
Actually, I don't. So why don't you start with the
Okay, all right. I will go then. All right, I have Anthony Edwards 30 plus points, plus 150 odds at FanDuel. Let me make sure that that's still the best price. That hasn't moved. Anthony Edwards, you can plus 138. I'd still take it there. Edwards, it's one of those things where, like, if you look at his season-long hit rate, you're not going to be impressed. But really, I'm looking at it since he complained about being doubled all the time. Poor guy was getting double-teamed on a basketball court. It wasn't fun for him. The Celtics really should have just respected him more and known that he wanted to have fun playing basketball and not double-teamed him.
True.
Either way, since then, he's played 13 games. He scored 30 points in 7 of them. He's averaging over 30 points per game. Twice in that stretch, he scored exactly 28 points, so he got pretty close. Gets a great matchup against a Suns team who he just smoked in the playoffs last year. Missed it the first time these two teams played, but if you just look at the matchup, Suns allow the 8th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers, 10th most points via the above the break 3-pointer. In terms of the shot zone on the court, that's where Ant scores about half his points, is the above the break 3. And both of those numbers are correlated to the fact that the Suns allow the second highest frequency of shots against them are pull-up shots, both pull-up 3-pointers and then just pull-ups in general. That's a classic Bud-style defense. That's how he plays. Anthony Edwards scores the 2nd most points per game via pull-ups in the entire NBA. And it's been like a very hit or miss thing for Ant. Since that game against the Celtics, he cashed the over in 3 straight games. Then he missed it in 2 straight games. And then he's been every other game since then. And I don't necessarily think that he's going to shoot well every other game. But it is like a player, like last game, he shot 2 of 11 from 3, 6 of 20 from the field. You just bet on positive regression from a shooting perspective. And in a good matchup, you know that he gets up when he wants to play against mostly Kevin Durant. So Anthony Edwards, 30 plus points.
What about Chris?
Man, if I knew that KD was going to play, Cal, I'd tell you put the belt up, but I didn't bet it.
What happened last time? What happened last time we put the belt up?
You didn't put it up because you didn't bet Orlando, but we were supposed to, and you just didn't. You got a little gun shy again. Scared to go head to head with me. I don't think we've been head to head that many times this year, Cal.
Put it up then.
No, I'm not. I'm not even adding another bet. Because if I put it up, KD will get ruled out. Devin Booker will be downgraded because he'll have an illness and they'll lose by 40. So yeah, I just want to fade the Timberwolves, man. I feel like they've been playing a little bit above their head, but you mentioned it. Everything you said is absolutely true, Cal. The strength of schedule for Phoenix has been an absolute cakewalk. The strength of schedule for Minnesota, they've been playing against some really good teams. They just beat Denver, smoked Denver. But you look into it a little bit deeper, and I know I'm digging here, but when they're on a 3-game winning streak this season, they come back down to earth. They're 1-4 straight up and against the spread. So that consistency for 4 or 5 games is when they typically just fall flat on their face. The one thing I will say, Cal, because I remember last year in the playoffs, we both liked Phoenix a lot, and they got steamrolled. They got swept in the playoffs to this team. So not only do you have playoff revenge, you got earlier in-season revenge. The time that these two teams played back on November the 17th, Phoenix lost that game by 3. They lost by 3, 120 to 117. No Bradley Beal, no KD. Devin Booker had 44 points. So they will be motivated off early in-season revenge, playoff revenge as well. If KD in, I think they can get the job done. The other big piece, Cal, that I don't think you're factoring in too much is Nick Richards is there now. First time they've had a true center in forever. Somebody that can actually
the rebounding rate still looks like shit though.
Yeah, but it'll get better, especially against good teams. So I think Phoenix, especially coming off a win against the Clippers the other day, Clippers had they actually own the Clippers. They beat the Clippers 3 times this season. But kind of using that momentum going into this game, feeling good about yourself, I think it's a little bit of a flat spot letdown for the Timberwolves here, Cal. But you make an excellent point as well, which is why I stay on the sideline.
Chris is on this. He said Suns are pass, by the way.
I got more sideline vibes, but we'll put Suns are pass for him. Okay, so in this game, we're rolling with the Billy Goat. We're rolling with Mike Conley, and we're getting active.
Hold on. Is that his nickname?
No, I made it for him.
The Billy Goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I make
everybody thinks Mike Conley from Billy Goat, obviously.
Isn't that a common association?
No,
yeah, I don't
not.
know. He's just an old man. He's out there. Nobody knows really what he does. Last game, he really did awful. He shot 0 of 5 from 3, but I really love a bounce back spot for him. Without DiVincenzo on the court, we've really seen his three-point volume skyrocket. I mean, look at the last 6 games, all without DiVincenzo on the court. He's averaging 5 3-point attempts per game. Now he's going to face a Phoenix defense that allows the second most three-pointers made to point guards both on the season and over the last 15 games. He hit not only 2+, but 3+ 3 points made in 4-6 games without DiVincenzo, and now Robert Dillingham might be out as well, adding even more potential minutes. On top of that, we just heard that Naz Reid might be out, so even more potential usage here. With just 4+ 3-point attempts, Conley's hit 2+ his last 11 of 15 on the road, and with 5+ 3-point attempts, he's hit 3+ his last 8 of 9 on the road. So I just really like the spot for him here. I like the volume he's getting on, and on top of that, he's kind of like Drew Holiday in the sense where he'll have some really ugly games, but then he'll bounce back the next night, and when he goes hyper efficient, just expect him to come out the next night and put up an absolute shitter. So he's coming off of a shitter. I expect him to put up a really nice performance tonight. Give me the Billy Goat, Mike Conley. 1 unit on the 2+, and then a half unit on the 3+.
Okay. He likes the Billy Goat.
Yes, Helms. In this economy, we're doing the Conley's 3 ladder. I know. We've been betting ugly this season, and the ugly bets have been doing well for us. So let's stay ugly.
Yeah, you hit your
Yabusele freaking assist play yesterday. We're getting gross, and that's how we're doing it.
Yeah, Prop Beaver has been hitting recently. Got to give him that. Next, one last NBA game, and I don't have much to say. I will not lay 10 points with a team that I almost know for certain is going to lose the rebounding battle. Just won't do it. Never happen. So Warriors are past, but I'm not betting it because the Warriors have been just shit. So Warriors are past. You can just put Warriors up for me. Not betting this game. Don't even care to talk about it.
Same, Gal. I don't have much to add after that either. I do think resting Steph yesterday in preparation for this game, because this is national TV game. You expect Golden State to come out and play with some pride. They were getting, 4, I think, the last time that they played against OKC and Golden State. They actually got a push in that game. So I think I'm pretty sure Steve Kerr looked over at the Utah Jazz injury report yesterday and said, oh, shit, this is who they're trotting out? All right, Steph, you can sit today. We'll use you tomorrow against OKC when he realized who Utah was trotting out yesterday. So I agree with you. I think they can keep it within the number. OKC, surprisingly, after being super hot, them and the Cleveland Cavaliers have actually failed to cover 3 straight. They didn't cover against Portland the other day either. So, I know it's second leg of back-to-back, but I'm not laying double digits with OKC on the roll right now. Just not something I want to do with my money.
Yeah, in one of those games, they got beat up by an injured Mavericks team. Portland covered plus 14. We took that in the Discord. That was on Sunday. So, yeah, Oklahoma City hasn't been covering, and we've seen them playing with their food a little bit in some of these games. What about Matt?
So I went Isaiah Hartenstein. I went a little bit weird on this one. I went basically 10+ points, 10+ rebounds, and 3 assists. Initially, I wanted to do just double-double, but I really like his matchup for assists as well. So I added that for Hartenstein. It's plus 165 on the iHeart SGP. If you just want to go double-double, that's plus 100 at FanDuel. I really like the matchup for him literally in all 3 categories, which is obviously why I'm combining them. For one, these numbers he hits, like each of them are like an 80% hit rate. He's only played 27 games this year because he's been in and out of the lineup with injuries, but he's scored 10 points in 20 of 26 games. He's gotten 10 rebounds in 21 of 26 games, and he's gotten at least 3 assists in 20 of 26 games as well. So he hits them 75, 80% hit rate. The points is probably what I'm the most worried about in terms of his matchup, because generally the Warriors do a good job stopping centers. But the biggest advantage that he has is that push shot from not the restricted area, but the part of the paint, the non-restricted area of the paint, that's what I'm looking for. That's where the majority of his points come from. Over 50% come from that, like that little push shot area, which I know you as a Knicks fan know exactly what I'm talking about with Hartenstein. He's automatic in that spot of the floor. The Warriors, because they try so hard to limit points at the rim, they literally allow the most points in that spot on the floor. So they allow the fewest points in the restricted area, the most points in the non-restricted area of the paint. So that's perfect for Hartenstein. So that's kind of why the points I'm good with. Rebounds, they've been a good matchup for center rebound props all year. They don't take a ton of jump shots, and they also don't have a traditional center, which leads to a lot of rebounds for guys like Hartenstein. And then it's the same thing for assists. They've been a good matchup for center assist props as well, because they are relatively aggressive trying to get the ball to the hands of centers close to the basket, which leads to a lot of assists for them as well. He played the Thunder this year, scored 14 points, got 14 rebounds, and got 3 assists. So he hit this in the matchup against the Warriors earlier this year. And if you wanted to be safe, you could go double-double. I think that's solid for plus 100. Again, I really liked his assist matchup as well, so I just added it in to get significantly better odds.
Let's talk some college. Well, real quick, clear the board. We're going to move on to college basketball, so these guys are going to bounce. Make sure you follow these guys on YouTube. They both have their own channels. Chris's show is in the morning, Crispy Cabin with 2 N's at the end. That's at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Modai doesn't upload, I think, the night before, right?
No, I did mostly the morning of.
Morning uploads? Okay. So, yeah, and it's Jedi Modai Analytics, right?
Just put a Jedi Modai and you'll find it.
Jedi Modai, yep. So make sure you show these guys some support. Let's talk some college basketball. Talk to you guys later.
Cool. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good luck tonight, fellas.
See you guys.
All right. We got... I took out some of the games from last night that neither me or Toast had a bet on. And obviously, if you watch the midnight show, we're not going to just go through the whole thing again. We'll just touch on like a summary. This first one, I have no interest in betting. Toast bet it, so I put it on because he actually has a bet in it. I personally don't have any interest in this game. I don't know. I don't know how you lay 9.5 with a 124 total, but at the same time, I'm not trying to fade Houston. So,
yeah, I mean, am I mute? No, okay, good. Yeah, as far as this game concerned, you said it. You kind of hit the nail on the head. There's such a low total with two teams that are two slowest paced teams in the conference. Houston's extremely good. Like, I'm not going to come up here and try to explain to you why Houston's bad or they're going to be in a down spot or anything like that. But I don't like this spot situationally for them, having just played a 2 overtime game against Kansas and a great win for them. Obviously, regardless if Kansas folded or not, that was a really good win for Houston. And they also have Texas Tech on deck as one of their bigger games left in the season at home. So this is kind of a little bit of a sandwich spot, which I continue to say, I know that West Virginia hasn't played well the last couple nights, but the Arizona State game, they were off a huge win against Iowa State, and they kind of had a meltdown against Arizona State, and then they went on the road to Kansas State. And yes, Kansas State is absolutely terrible, but they had played Kansas State. I'm talking about had played Baylor, Kansas, Texas Tech, Houston, all those 4 teams in a row before they played West Virginia. They were in a desperate spot, so I don't really put too much emphasis on the West Virginia loss to Kansas State. It matters a little bit, but not too much. But this is still a West Virginia team that's beaten, like I said, Iowa State. They've beaten Kansas, Arizona, Georgetown, Gonzaga. Again, I just think that they're a little bit undervalued here. Again, Houston's extremely good, but I do think that West Virginia should be able to match up well with them today. They played earlier this season. I watched that game. Houston won by 16, but at the same time, they shot over 40% from 3. If they do that on the road here in this type of spot, so be it. But I just don't think in such a low total this game that West Virginia should be getting they're at 9.5 now. I got them at 8.5. So, I'm on West Virginia no matter what.
Next. Didn't bet this one. I bet the next one. LSU plus 12.5. It's a flat spot for Auburn. Obviously, number 1 team in the country. You really look at their recent body of work here. They're not blowing these teams out on the road. I mean, their last 3 road games, you go to Georgia, 2-point game. You go to South Carolina, who, by the way, is probably the worst team in the SEC, 3-point game. You go to Texas, 5-point game. So the idea of like, oh, how could you fade Auburn? Well, in the last 3 road games, they're not covering. They're not winning by margin. They're playing tough, competitive games with teams that are a full step down in competition, which obviously this LSU team is. They're towards the bottom of the SEC. But it's not just the fact that Auburn has not been winning by margin on the road. That's not the only reason I like it. I also like the spot. If you take a look at where this game is located on the schedule for Auburn, their last three, number 15, Mississippi State, number 23, Georgia, number 6, Tennessee. Right after this, on the road at Ole Miss, number 23. So this is the least important game in the last 5 of a 5-game stretch for Auburn. This is the least important one sandwiched in there. So I think LSU plays them tough. Maybe LSU first half. Auburn comes out flat. But they're just coming off the huge win over Tennessee. Huge win over Tennessee in their last game. Then they have this game against a bad LSU team. And then they got a huge road game after this. So just a flat spot for Auburn. 12.5 is a big number with a team that's not winning by margin on the road. Go Tigers.
I knew that was coming, and I still could not laugh. Did you get 13.5 though, right?
I'll check right now.
I think last night. Regardless, the only reason I played first half 7.5, just like you said. I just wanted to touch on. I can't really add anything to he said. He did a really good job with that one. But all I can also say is that LSU is also, again, there's going to be no step down in class when you play Auburn. My point being is that LSU has also played a pretty damn good schedule. They just got done playing Alabama. They just got done playing Texas A&M, Mississippi, Missouri, Vanderbilt. The only team that was kind of shitty in that run was Arkansas. So going back to the beginning of January, LSU's faced some very, very good competition. So again, it's not none of those teams are Auburn. It's not even close, but I do think that they should be able to hang in this game. And how Kyle mentioned, should be a flat spot for Auburn.
Next. Someone said, was that Tony the Tiger? No, that was Coach O, bro. Go Tiger.
You know.
You want to be a real Tiger? Wisconsin, Maryland. Neither of us have a bet on this game. The conversation is about the sketchy line. I said Maryland last night just because the whole world's like, how is this line 5.5? Wisconsin might be the better team, and the whole world's taking Wisconsin as a public dog right now. Clearly, there's some sharp action buying this number up on the Maryland side. This would be what would be referred to as a pros versus public type of game. Everyone's going to be on Wisconsin. Give me Maryland. I don't really know why the line's here. I'm not betting this. I'm just saying if I was to bet it, I would just fade the public dog and take Maryland. But don't take my word. I like I said, I didn't bet it.
Yeah, if I had to play, if I gun to my head, it would be under 153.5 for me. Because and the only reason I say that is, again, first of all, Wisconsin on the road has been an absolute juggernaut. The only reason I would say under is because you have clearly the books feel like Maryland should win this game. Because I agree with Kyle. I don't understand how Maryland is -5.5, because even if you look at they're playing really well, are they? Because they played an Indiana team that's absolutely terrible, and they should have lost that game. Woodson doesn't know how to coach. They caught Illinois in a really, really bad spot. The whole team was sick. They had a couple guys out or whatever. They also played Nebraska, who's absolutely terrible. They lost to Northwestern. They beat Minnesota, who's terrible. And then they beat UCLA, who, I guess is okay. But, I don't think there's very many people that are really scared of this UCLA team. So I'm just not impressed with what Maryland has done. And you're going to be facing a Wisconsin team that's constantly showed that they can play on the road. Even in their loss against UCLA, they scored 83 points in a loss. So Maryland's not the type of offense that I really worry about. Clearly, this line doesn't make any sense. I would lean under or pass. I'm not going to keep on going on about it.
Next game. Hashtag Dukes, hashtag outright, hashtag money line, hashtag believe. Dukes up, took the +9. Numbers inflated. I don't know a ton about this conference. Toast likes it. I don't know a ton about this conference, but St. Joe's laying a big number here. I'm kind of just telling people, but I did bet this. I'm on the Dukes.
Yeah, I like Duquesne. I think that this number was just a little high for me. You have a total like 136, 137 or whatever it is. So not the highest total to begin with. Not to mention the fact that Duquesne, really a slow-paced team, 301 in the country as far as pace is concerned. So offensively, they're not really anything, but defensively, that's kind of where they hang their hat on. Obviously, there's no question St. Joe's is the much better team. I'm not trying to make a case that I think that Duquesne's a better team or anything like that, but I do think that Duquesne can stay in this game by by shooting the 3-ball. They've been able to do that consistently all year. They're one of the best teams in the conference shooting the 3-ball. That's one issue that St. Joe's doesn't really defend very well. The areas that St. Joe's defends really well is inside, and that's not really the type of game that Duquesne is going to play here. The other thing that I really like too is that St. Joe's doesn't turn the ball over a lot, but Duquesne actually forces a lot of turnovers, so I think that kind of negates things there. And St. Joe's isn't a very good free throw shooting team. Again, Duquesne isn't really good at anything, but when you have to cover a 10-point spread and a very low total like that, I'm just not really there. So again, St. Joe's is coming off a really bad loss, or not a really bad loss, a loss against Dayton that they probably felt like they should have won that game, but they also have Loyola Chicago on deck. I'm just really not a fan of this St. Joe's team right now and how they're playing, let alone laying almost 10 points. So these two teams did play earlier in the season. It was a 4-point game in overtime. I'm not saying this game's going to go to overtime, but I would be shocked if this game is 12 or 15 points and St. Joe's just blows this team out. So I think that St. Joe's wins by 6 or 7, to be honest.
Next game, but you could actually skip the next one. I put it on there because I was considering tailing Vandenbosch on Virginia, but I didn't end up doing that, and Toast didn't like that game. So next up is Xavier Creighton. Creighton minus 5.5 is my favorite college basketball bet of the day, but I can't remember why. Trevor said it last night, and I was like all in on what he said. I forget what he said. It was something about like Creighton at home is much better than Xavier on the road, but then that pissed you off because you were like, oh, I don't know about Xavier on the road. But I don't know. Trev liked Creighton, and I was in. I got it at minus 5.5. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it sold me.
Well, Creighton's been playing much better basketball lately. There's no question about that. I would say that this is a kind of a little bit of a step up in class for them. The only team that they've played that's somewhat decent in the last 2 or 3 weeks is UConn, and they did win that game, and that game was on the road. So they're coming off a beat down of Seton Hall. They're coming off a beat down of DePaul as well. They beat up on Providence. When they've been at home, they've been essentially dominant at home. They had a 1-point win, but again, that win was against St. John's at home, and St. John's is a very, very good basketball team. So I pushed back.
Sorry, Trevor. Xavier off the UConn win. That's what I like.
I was just about to say you have a couple situational spots, but yeah, Xavier off this big UConn win at home. Now they got to go on the road in one of the hardest places to play in the country. I get that. I just was saying that last night. I was just saying that Xavier on the road isn't an absolute fade for me. They lost to St. John's in overtime. That's understandable. They beat Marquette. They beat DePaul. They lost to Georgetown by 5. They lost to UConn on the road in overtime. They lost to Cincinnati by 3. They lost to TCU by 4. So even if they're losing games, they're staying in games. So again, Creighton, and especially Creighton at home, is much better than most of all those teams I just mentioned. But regardless, my point being is that I just think that Xavier is getting a little bit of disrespect here. I didn't bet Xavier because I'm very, very cold. What did Beaver say earlier? I couldn't piss off a peer. I couldn't do that either right now. So,
well, I'm the opposite, and I did bet Creighton. So let's go. I can't miss right now. Creighton up.
So the rest of that adage is I couldn't piss off a pier and hit the ocean. That's what it's supposed to be.
All right.
So I actually have Creighton as one of my league picks tonight. I have 3 NBA picks, and I put Creighton in there. Next.
All right.
What's next? Dude, I think you're on the right side here. I ended up not tailing you, but I think you got this one right. I think Mississippi State's the play. I know everyone in the comments is about to say, Roll Tide, Alabama. Like Helms and Trevor and Juice are all going to say Alabama, but I think you're right on Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State is the play. They can score in Alabama. It's going to be a back-and-forth game. The home team's going to get it. There's a reason they're laying 1.5 now, right?
I do think there's a reason that they're laying 1.5. Helms, Juice, the world. Everybody wants
bunch of squares, man.
Everybody wants. Hey, it's been. I mean, at this point, especially if you look at yesterday, every single play on the board that was square hit. So,
not UCF.
Besides your Kansas one, sure, but yeah, besides that, but almost every other one hit. And anybody that's thinking it's a good play to lay 14 points with Kansas is just higher than I am. But anyway, for Alabama, obviously Alabama is extremely good. Not trying to make it again. I always come up here and say this. Not trying to make a case when I bet against them that they're a bad basketball team, but they are susceptible to a couple things. First of all, I will say this is that Nate Oates, Tide coach, very, very good history against Chris Jans, 5-0 against Chris Jans. All that thing has been awesome. Alabama's road offense has been very, very good. And they've actually played better on the road than they've played at home, which is kind of weird. But I'm just not really there with Alabama when they're stepping up in competition, for one. I know they haven't really lost a whole bunch of games. They've played a really good schedule, but I mean, Kentucky is a really big name, but beating Kentucky and giving up 97 points, I mean, that's a nice win for them, but I don't really know what to think of that. The Texas A&M win was decent, but again, they beat Creighton when Creighton really wasn't Creighton as the Creighton that we know as right now. Or North Carolina looked good a month ago, 2 months ago, and now it doesn't look good at all. The Houston win is good, I guess, but besides, again, all those games were at neutrals and stuff like that. This conference play is just really different for me. Not to mention the fact that you have Mark Sears, who didn't play in the whole second half against LSU. His mom's on social media all pissed off. There's all these distractions around this Alabama program. I feel like Mississippi State here is, you're going to get the absolute best effort out of Mississippi State here. Not to mention the fact that they should be able to keep up with Alabama scoring wise. I know a lot of people on the over, and I like that as well. Mississippi State usually kind of been playing slower, but they haven't been. They played with some pace here. They're going to pound the ball inside, and I think that if Alabama gets in foul trouble with Nelson and whatnot, I think that could really, really be an issue with them because they really count on Nelson, especially to score, especially in transition and stuff. So, yeah, I'm on Mississippi State here. Again, I haven't been very hot the last couple of weeks. It is what it is, but I really like Mississippi State here. I think there's an absolute reason that they're a favorite to start with, and they haven't changed that number at all. So, I don't know. A lot of people bet Mississippi State with me, but we'll see what happens.
I like it. I didn't bet it. I kind of want to, though. I think this is the right play. Next game. Speaking of another play, you didn't bet this. I didn't see it on
I am waiting. I've waited. I haven't bet.
Oh, you did say you were going to wait. I forgot about that.
Let me see where it's at now. I want 7. That's the number that I would like. It's been hovering around 6.5.
It's still 6.5.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get a 7. This game is a little bit later, so if I win a couple of my first plays, knock on wood, I'll probably end up betting this. But
we both like Texas, Beaver.
Yeah, I lean Texas here. I think that this Texas team is playing extremely well, and nobody really wants to talk about it. I know I don't like to talk about it because I'm not a Rodney Terry fan, but this team continues to play well. Last 4 times I've played them, the last five or six times I've played them, they've all cashed for me. Like, this has been my cash cow. I didn't play them against Florida because I hated the matchup for them. But again, wins against Texas A&M. Yes, they came back by 22 or whatever it is, but they got the job done. Missouri, another team that's been extremely hot. They beat Missouri at home. Again, I talked to you about losing to Florida. They beat Oklahoma. They lost to Tennessee, Auburn, and Texas A&M in their first 3 conference games, and everybody wrote them off. But that Texas A&M game was bad, but the Auburn game, Auburn clubbered them in the first half, and then Texas came back. Auburn ended up winning that game. Same type of thing happened in the Tennessee game as well. Texas actually, I think, had the lead in the second half of that Tennessee game. So anytime that Texas has played the upper echelon competition of the SEC, they've been just fine here. And you have Mississippi's good. Like, I've made a lot of money with this team so far this year too, but they're coming off of 3 straight losses. And yeah, I get that. That's usually a buy on spot for them, but they also have Auburn and Kentucky on deck. I just don't really like the matchup. I think these teams are very similar. I think they both play through their defense. I know that the Texas defense isn't ranked very well, but it's not like you're worried about Texas offensively. They hang in their games because they slow the pace down and they play defense well. So, yeah, I would take the points with Texas personally. I hate the spot for Ole Miss, and I do think that Texas matches up well against them.
Yeah, we like Texas as a dog, man. Texas up next game.
What the hell is so funny?
Shipley in the comments. Dude.
Oh,
he said not putting crab cheese on your steak, and then a bunch of laughing emojis.
That's because he went to Walmart, got a whole bunch of thin sliced steaks and some American cheese.
For those of you who don't know Shipley from the Discord, he'll get like a nice steak. I'm not talking about like steakums, and he puts slices of American cheese on like his steak, like an actual steak, like a cut of meat, not a cheese steak.
Like a cut of meat,
like an actual steak.
In an attempt to make a cheesesteak?
No, he likes eating his steak with a Kraft American cheese.
Go to fucking hell, Shipley.
That's crazy.
I think they bought a torture just for the Kraft cheese on the steak. I am dead serious when I say that.
Anyway,
it's wild.
Oh, St. Mary's up, and this is the ultimate fake sharp game. Tried telling these guys.
Oh my God.
This is okay. This line should be 8 or 9. St. Mary's is the significantly better team. You have guys like Trevor, like Toast, taking Santa Clara for the sole reason of being sharp. They know that's a bad bet.
That is
They're
so
just
far
trying to
from
be
the
sharp
truth.
with this. St. Mary's -4 is the play. I bet this, and I cannot wait for this game to start so I can tag Toast and Trevor throughout the beatdown. St. Mary's by double digits. That's Toast. Yeah, I'm on St. Mary's.
So, yes, St. Mary's is the better team, but to make a comment on this airwave to say that they should be favored by 9 in this game.
I make this game 8.5.
I hate you, first of all. Second of all, St. Mary's has played very well, yes. I'm not trying to take that away from them, but who have they played? Their best game was against San Francisco. They won that game. Santa Clara is much better than San Francisco, in my opinion. But going back to December 28th, Pacific, Pepperdine, Portland, Loyola Marymount, San Diego, Pepperdine, San Francisco, Washington State, literally the bottom feeders of the West Coast Conference. So I sure as hell hope that you look good, St. Mary's, playing all these bottom feeding teams. Now, Santa Clara, on the other hand, it's not like they're playing some crazy good schedule, but they did go on the road to Oregon State. We know how bad Oregon or how hard it is to, it's hard to play at Oregon State. I heard that laugh, Beaver.
No,
it's not hard. It's not hard.
This
The comments
laugh
are
is
going
about
nuts.
something else.
Oh, I was going to say, it is hard to go into Corvallis on a Thursday night. You guys are absolutely crazy. Santa Clara also went to Gonzaga, beat Gonzaga by 5 in the kennel, scoring 103 points. They scored 93 against Washington. St. Mary's defense is good, but they haven't seen an offense that matches up well with them like Santa Clara. Another thing that St. Mary's usually has going for them is their advantage inside with their size. They're not going to have that with Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a bigger team than them. So, again, Santa Clara is the best 2-point offense in the conference. St. Mary's is the best 2-point defense in the conference. So I think this game is an absolute coin flip, and you're getting Santa Clara at home off of an embarrassing loss to Oregon State. You have St. Mary's, who hasn't played anybody, with those big, bad Gonzaga Bulldogs on deck. Just hate the spot for St. Mary's. Santa Clara's live in this game, boys. Promise.
All right, I just want to talk about the steak real quick. We have a photo to put American cheese on a tomahawk should be a literal felony.
And Prop Beaver, that's not a Photoshop. That's actually Shipley sending his steak that he's eating at a restaurant.
He actually sent another picture today. It just wasn't of that steak. It's other steaks that he bought for the same purpose.
Look at that. He sent that. That's not like us making fun of him. He sent that to us as if like, oh, look how good this dinner is.
Jail.
That's insane, bro.
I love it.
That also looks like
Shipley.
at a restaurant. Could you imagine the chef having to do that for him?
The worst day that chef's fucking life.
Oh, someone goes, that's some Justin Herbert shit.
Oh my God.
All right, that's it.
No.
I added this one at the end. I didn't realize Toast bet this game, so this is a late edition. Toast took this over. So you go to the last game. I didn't realize you said you didn't like this game last night. I thought.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night. I was, just capping away. Found something I liked. Which one is this? Kansas State or okay, yeah. Just personally felt like this number is a little bit low. Oklahoma has a somewhat decent offense that plays at a really fast pace. That should give them some easy buckets in transition. And they also with fast pace comes turnovers. And I do like that both teams are able to take advantage. I think both teams are going to be able to take advantage of that, get buckets in transition. Kansas State does play slow, but they don't really rely on the 3-ball. So they should be able to smoke Oklahoma State inside. Also for me, Oklahoma, the turnover issues for both teams is really big. That's like the main thing for me. I think this is going to be like of a more free-flowing type of game, and both teams are going to get up and down the floor pretty easily. So Kansas State also has started to play a little bit better. So I don't really worry about them too much. I just felt like this number was a little bit slow, so I did play the over on that one.
I said Kansas State or pass on last night's show, not betting this game.
Okay.
Give me Kansas State -4. The hell, 7.5.
And that's where part of the reason that I was already trying to look towards the over is because they had them as such a big favorite, and I do like Oklahoma State's pace. So if Kansas State were to say get up by 15 or whatever, Oklahoma's still going to push the pace and try to score easy buckets. So we'll see.
Yo, Tinker said guarantee the chef spit on that steak before putting the cheese on top. Yo. That's it. No,
No,
everyone's
wait.
having-
We got an underdog.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We've got an underdog here. All right. The underdog actually hit yesterday, so if you tailed, you cashed out. So very nice for the one of you who probably tailed. For the other
Wait,
one,
your
of
underdog hit yesterday?
yeah, the underdog did hit yesterday. So for the other one of you, they'll probably tail today's underdog. We've got Daniel Gafford, higher than 28.5 PRAs, and then we got Jordan Poole, higher than 1.5 steals. The other two props I gave out, they don't have a line for them right now, probably in the process of moving. Jordan Poole, sneaky defensive masterclass this season. Dude has been racking up the steals. He's much better at home, and the Raptors have been giving out steals like candy. So I put Jordan Poole in there for the second leg. If you need a leg or just want to replace the Jordan Poole leg, you don't like defensive props, that's up to you. You could do a free pick, Steph Curry, higher than a half total point. I know he didn't play yesterday. That should make him more likely to play today. And if you are not an underdog customer and would like to become one, you can sign up in one of these yellow states, yellow like cheese on the map. And you can sign up with the promo code BET, B-E-T. It is 3 EE letters, and you get a deposit match up to $1,000. Buy yourself a nice steak with those winnings, my friends. Alrighty, so that's gonna be all for us here. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you in the midnight stream. Stay
Look at
goated.
PC's comments.
Stay
Get out of here. Everyone.